Nandana Brajajana Nandana Yashodanandana Brajajana Nandana Yamuna Tira Vanatari Yamuna Tira Vanatari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhav Radha Madhav Radha Madhav Jaya Radha Madhav Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gaur Hariva 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 Nitai Gaur Hariva Shri Shri Radha ki Shri Shri Jagannath ki Jai and the Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki Jai. We are having a late Bhagavatam class today, but it's okay. We can hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So let us just open up. It seems to be a very nice verse today. It was from, if someone can just.
Three and 24.
Yes, what was that again?
Yes, what was that again?
Two devices.
Prabhuji, 23-24, 13th chapter.
It's on the beautiful pastime of appearance of Lord Varaha. Right. So let's just share the screen and then we can. Here you go. Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Iti Mimam Satastasya Brahmana Sahasonibhi Bhagavan Yajna Purusha Jagarajang Indra Sannibha Iti Mimam Satastasya Brahmana Sahasonibhi Bhagavan Yajna Purusha Jagaragendra Sannibaha. Translation. And purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. While Brahma was deliberating with his sons, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, roared tumultuously like a great mountain. Perfect. It appears the great hills and mountains also have their roaring power because they are also living entities. The volume of the sound vibrated is in proportion to the size of the material body. While Brahma was guessing about the appearance of the Lord's incarnation as a bird, the Lord confirmed Brahma's contemplation by roaring with his gorgeous voice. Next sloka. Brahmanam harshayam masha haristamstra dvijotaman Swagarjitena kakubaha pratisvanayata vibhu. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The omnipotent Supreme Personality of God had enlivened Brahma and the other highly elevated Brahmanas by again roaring with his uncommon voice, which echoed in all directions. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Brahma and other enlightened Brahmanas who know the Supreme Personality of Godhead are enlivened by the appearance of the Lord in any of his multi-incarnations. The appearance of the wonderful and gigantic incarnation of Vishnu as the mountain-like boar did not fill them with any kind of fear, although the Lord's resounding voice was tumultuous and echoed horribly in all directions as an open threat to all demons who might challenge his omnipotency. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-salakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Sri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sahagana Raghunatanitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Narita Sri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Vedanta Swaminite Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Jayapataka Swami Nami Namo Acharya Padaya Nitaya Bhaktadaya Gaurakata Dhamadaya. So it's a very wonderful day. Today is Dwadashi, and after the wonderful day of the appearance day of Gita, we are actually talking on the appearance of Lord Varaha. What a wonderful thing. It's a Dwadashi today also. So actually this chapter is a very wonderful chapter which comes. Actually in this third canto, Parikshit actually asks about the creation, the different varieties of creation. You see both Sarga, Visarga, you see both the primary and the secondary creation, as well as here comes the discussion about how the Lord also appeared, right? So it will be on all of those. So if we go through the chapter, actually, this chapter is the discussion between Vidura and Maitreya Muni. Now, those are some interesting things which we have to understand, that the questions, there are never any new questions. The questions which have been asked, like whenever Parikshit asked some questions, or for the matter of fact, the sages of Naimisharanya asked to Suta Goswami. Suta could actually, while he was answering, he said that these are not new questions. These questions were already asked by Parikshit to Sukadev. And in fact, as a matter of fact, when Parikshit was asking those questions to Sukadev, Sukadev said, well, these are not new questions. These questions were asked by Vidura to Maitreya Muni. So you understand what the fact is. And at certain times you will see these are the questions which was asked by Narada to Brahma. So no one manufactures anything. Because it was, we call our Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavad Gita as it is, because it is as it is presented. That means no one manufactured anything. No one was that. Those were the same questions, whichever questions, like we see in the first canto, we said, these questions are beneficial for all. Because by getting to know the questions and the answers of that, our dependency and our belief, our faith on the Supreme Personality of Godhead and on the spiritual master increases. And we understand that we are the servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's the wonderful thing, right? So while this conversation is going on, this is between Vidura and Maitreya Muni. So all of you remember, right, that Vidura is such an exalted personality. To just give you all a brief overview, Vidura is such that when Uddhava meets Vidura, and Vidura asks about everyone out there, so Uddhava says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has left. And he in fact says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead was remembering you before he left this planet. Can you beat it out? The Lord was remembering you. So Vidura is such an exalted devotee. He's actually, Vidura is actually the Yamaraj. He's one of the 12 Mahajanas also. And he was like a devotee. He saw good in everything out there. when Duryodhana, the child whom he grew up, whom he gave all the love and affection, when he grew up and he chastised him, he said him that you're eating on our food and you're behaving against us. When he chastised him, Vidura left. And when Vidura left, in fact, in one of the Mahabharatas, I'm reading that the Duryodhana reasons out that there were 3 reasons why he lost the battle. And one of the reasons was he didn't have Vidura on his side, because the other side had Krishna. So anyone who could have just matched to the level of Vidura, as to the level of Krishna, was only Vidura. Of course, only a devotee can, if your devotee can match to the Lord, means you can take it either ways. But that is the status of Vidura. And Vidura is asking Maitreya Muni. And in this chapter, the previous verses which has happened, it's like some very nice thing. Like he says, Vidura is saying that, tell me, after what did Brahma do before Manu's appearance, and he's then, he says that persons who hear from a spiritual master with great labor and from a long time must hear from the mouths of pure devotees about the character and activities of pure devotees. Pure devotees always think within their hearts of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead. And then Maitreya Muni then says that after appearance of Manu, they also, Manu and his wife, Satyarupa, Satyarupa, they paid obeisances. And after that, they said that, please tell us what do we have to do. And Brahma said that, go, you have surrendered yourself, you're being a good son, so please go ahead and you beget children, because you're Prajapati, so you will have to beget the children, and rule the world in the pursuance of principles of devotional service. But while they were all doing this, they found that the earth has been merged in the great water. So earth has been merged out there. So while all this work was going on, so they find out about that. And Brahma then starts thinking. Brahma says that Brahma gave his attention. He thought, how can we lift the earth from the water? Now, that's particularly very interesting for us. Earth itself has water. And just imagine how big that other ocean should be, in which earth was also, earth was submerged, right? And it is said that earth has been inundated by a deluge and has gone down in the depths of ocean. So what can we do? And then Brahma is saying it is best to let the Almighty Lord direct us. And then suddenly, while he was thinking of this, something from his nose, a small form of boar came out. Small one. From the nose it is coming, so you can imagine it's a small one. But suddenly, and he says that the measurement of the creature was no more than the upper portion of the thumb. Just the upper portion. And then suddenly that boar became situated in the sky as wonderful manifestation, as gigantic as great elephant. So it became very big. Suddenly from small to big, it started becoming, And as it became big, then at that time, as soon as they saw it, so not only that, there were Brahma, there were the other Brahmanas, Marichi, Kumaras, Manu. So everyone started seeing, and then Brahma is thinking a lot. Brahma is thinking, what is this? This is some extraordinary entity. Came out from my nose, but suddenly grew. And so he thinks this is only one way possible. He says, my mind is perturbed. Is he the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu? So Brahma, that's where the background is. So Brahma is saying, oh, he immediately came out and he's saying, is he Personality of Godhead Vishnu? Now Vishnu can come in any form. Come in any form. So Sarva Yoneshu Kaunteya. He says, I am the father of all living entities. So the Lord can come in any form and still not be affected by that. And usually when we say, of course, a boar is better than, far, far way better than a pig, But we look down upon pigs, But it is Sukara Rupa. But see, even when the Lord comes in the Sukara Rupa, still that Rupa is prayavadi. That is the beauty of the Supreme Personality of God. The Lord leaves the battle. Anyone else leaves the battle, we call them as runaways. They're put behind the prison bars. But when the Lord leaves the battle, he's still glorified as Ranachod. In fact, in Gujarat, he's worshipped as Ranachod. Ran ko chhodne wala. So that's the beauty of the Supreme Personality of God. So now when he's come in this form of boar, so no one, previously there has never been an occasion where the Lord has come in the form of a boar. So Brahma is thinking, Brahma is deliberating. So Brahma, while he was deliberating in order to confirm whether he's coming or not, Vishnu rode tumultuously like a great mountain. Vishnu rode, And when Vishnu rode, so everyone, oh yes, this should be the Lord, because who else can make such a wonderful noise? And it is, if you see this purport, like when we were reading now, just before some of you joined, Prabhupada is saying that great hills and mountains also have their roaring power, because they are also living entities, very subtle. The living is very subtle there. And we usually say them as non-living, but the stones also have life in one of the places we read. That's how the deities, whichever deities from the stones from which deities are made, that stone needs to have life. So there are different, you cannot make deities from every stone usually. When you read this Lord Narasimhadev's pastime of Mayapur, there's a booklet. In that, I think Atma Tattva Prabhu writes that they also have, the stones have consciousness, and something like an insect has to go from one end of the stone to the other end of the stone, and that's they can figure out that that's a living stone. Of course, the level of consciousness is low. But here, Prabhupada also writes in the purport that they also have their roaring power. Of course, we know about the bigger roaring power of the mountain. Anyone remembers the roaring power of the mountain? Very important pastime, where he asked for more. Anyone on chat, please? The mountain roared and asked for more. Cannot beat it if you all don't say me that. The mountain asked for more. A mountain which is the biggest devotee. Come on, who are there? Someone should say us about
Govardhanagiri
the...
Prabhu.
Sorry?
Govardhanagiri Prabhu.
Yes.
Govardhan.
Govardhan.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. Hari Bol. You get full marks for that. Yes. Govardhan. Govardhan mountain made such a noise. When Giriraj came, Haridas Vadia, he's the biggest devotee. Govardhan said, Anior, Anior, Anior. That means, give me more, give me more, give me more. And everyone started giving him more and more and more and more and more. You remember that sweet pastime when we go, when we are crossing Vrindavan, when we are walking around Govardhan, and the beautiful Govardhan, how big his roaring power was, and how he also helped everyone. Of course, yeah, that's a different sweet pastime. So similarly, Prabhupada is saying that here also, when Brahma was guessing about the appearance of the Lord's incarnation as a boar, the Lord confirmed Brahma's contemplation by roaring with his gorgeous voice. And when he roared, now that roaring of the Lord can be two ways. So when you hear something very loud, you can either be very, very afraid, or you can be very, very happy. And that's what differentiates the devotees from the demons. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, Brahma and other enlightened Brahmanas who know the Supreme Personality of Godhead are enlivened by the appearance of the Lord in any of his multi-incarnations. The appearance of the wonderful and gigantic incarnation of Vishnu as the mountain-like boar did not fill them with any kind of fear, although the Lord's resounding voice was tumultuous and echoed horribly in all directions, as an open threat to all demons who might challenge his omnipotency. It reminds us, how when Narsimhadev wrote, when Narsimhadev wrote that all the demons out there, why all the demons? Even the devotees were also worried at a point of time. But then Prahlad, the greatest devotee, was not at all worried because he was very happy. He was very calm seeing the Lord. So the Lord can be very pleasing to Narsimhadev. He's Bhakta Vatsala to Prahlad, but he's death personified to Hiranyakashipu. So that's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is impartial to everyone. He's not at all partial. The way you want, he gives you back to that and somehow or the other. Because for the demons, the only way he can bring them back to him is by killing them. So that way he's impartial to them because he gives them back in the way. As you sow, so shall you reap. So he gives it back to them. And to the devotees, he gives back to the love, how much ever you want. So it's up to you how you show your love to the Lord. And if you show your love to the Lord, Krishna also reciprocates with you on that kind. And here when the Lord wrote, it is mentioned that all the Brahmanas, the enlightened Brahmanas and Brahma were actually enlivened by hearing the Lord's wonderful voice out there. That did not fill them with any kind of fear. Actually reminds me of few pastimes which happens, when Lord Ramachandra performed a wonderful pastime, when Lord Ramachandra goes to Janakpuri in Mithila kingdom, the Lord didn't have to, the king, the Mithiladhish, the king of Mithila, Janaka, had put a condition. He had put a condition that anyone who can lift up the sound, the bow which he had, there was Shiva Dhanush. So he said, anyone who can lift up this bow and can put the twang on the bow, then I will give my daughter in marriage to him. And putting the rope was a far away thing. People couldn't even lift that. There were great warriors who had come for that. It's mentioned in Ramayana, including it's mentioned in one of them that even Ravana had come, who is supposed to be the strongest. But Lord picked it up. And Lord picked it up and tied it, and he just pulled it. And the twang was so tumultuous, the sound was so tumultuous that all the 14 worlds shook, and then the bow broke. It is at that point of time that hearing the bow break, Parshurama was very angry, and Parshurama is also an incarnation of the Lord. He is a Satyavesha incarnation, so he came running as to who broke my Lord's bow, and there is a big fight between Lord Ram and Parshuram, and then Parshuram bows down and says, okay, now that I know you are there, so I will leave from here, and he goes back to his worship, So anyway, so the Lord has made different varieties of sound at different point of time, which has actually shattered the hearts. The other sound which I remember when the Lord's thing happened, we read in Bhagavad Gita. Yesterday we were reading the Bhagavad Gita in the chapter 1. You remember how the first conch is blown by whom? When the war starts, anyone wants to put it in the chat? Who, or you can even speak it out. Who blows the conch first? During the Pandavas and the Kauravas war, 7 verses 11. Anyone? Who blows the first conch? Okay, someone has put in the chat. The Kauravas. No, Panchajanya is not the first. Bhishma Dev. Yes, Bhishma Dev, correct. So Bhishma Dev blows the conch. It's very, very, very much mentioned out there that Bhishma Dev blows the conch, first conch, because he's the senior most, Even when the meeting is held between the commander-in-chiefs, and it is decided that every Akshani will be headed by a commander-in-chief, and there will be a chief commander again. Like we have the chief of defense staff nowadays in India. Someone left his body, right? General Rawat now. He was the chief. Among the 3 parties, he was the chief. So similarly, in the Kauravas and Pandavas, they had different Akshanis, different platoons of force, and each platoon was headed by one Maharathi, and then among them there was one head. So the chief among the Kauravas, the chief commander-in-chief was Bhishma, and from this side it was Drishtadyumna, the brother of Draupadi. But it was always said, and it is mentioned, and it should be kept on record, that till Bhishma Dev was on the battlefield, it was always the rules and regulations are followed very nicely. They had set up the rules, regulations, and all that. But that is not the point of discussion now. The point of discussion was that first Bhishma Dev blows the conch, it is mentioned. And when Bhishma Dev blows the conch, you should see that after that, it is mentioned that the Pandavas also blew the conch. And what was the effect of that? It is mentioned that as soon as Panchajanyam Rishikesha, it is mentioned that as soon as Rishikesha blew his Panchajanya, as soon as Arjuna blew his Devadatta, and then the other Pandavas, they blew their concept, it shattered the hearts of the Kauravas. It shattered the hearts of all the other people out there. And they knew that their death was imminent. You understand that? So any sound which is caused by the Lord, but that was energizing the Pandavas. So the same sound can be energizing to the Pandavas and can be death-threatening for the Kauravas. That is what is the potency of the Lord. The Lord can do in one thing. He can do both the things. He can achieve both the aspects, and that's what was also happening here. The Lord Varahadev was actually making such when he made, in order to confirm that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he made a big sound, and when he made the big sound, that actually enlivened the Brahmanas. And how do we make such sound which will enliven every one of us? We had, there is one Acharya in our parampara, I think his name is Vishnu Jagannath or something. I forget totally. My spiritual master, his name is Japta Maharaj, said one time. So he says, Vishwa Have Mridangmay. He says, the world will become filled with mridangas. So that is, he's a Gauriya Vaishnava Acharya. What is that? That means the sound of Mridanga shall be heard all across the globe. No one knew about Mridanga. But by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the tumultuous sounds of Mridanga is now going on in all parts of the world. And that is only while playing the Mridanga, everyone are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the world is getting enlivened by the sound, and the sound is like it is removing out Maya. It is removing out the Maya and throwing away the illusion from all across. And a bigger Mridanga, Brihat Mridanga, is what is that? Brihat Mridanga, which Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada has said, Brihat Mridanga is nothing but the distribution of books. That is Brihat Mridanga. That is again making a lot of noise. It's making so much noise that people are changing, their hearts are changing. So we all are, in this wonderful month of Gita, we should make that noise more and more. We should make the noise of Brihad Mridanga more and more. We should distribute books more and more. We should ensure that people come to know of the glories of Bhagavad Gita more and more. They should come to know the tumultuous glories of Lord by distributing Bhagavatam more and more. Only by doing that will we, how much can we preach? But these books will go about and preach across the globe. They will preach, and when they reach out to every people out there, then the whatever dirt is there in their heart, that will be removed. And we all have to play our part in that. See, whether you want it or not want it, I always think of that. Whether you want it or not want it, this is going to happen. Prithvite ache jato nagaradi gram sarvatra prachar hoibe mor naam. So how many villages is there? Anywhere or other, it will happen. Whether you want to be a part or not, that is your choice. Similarly, whether you want to be a part of distributing these wonderful books, distributing the glories of Bhagavatam, it's your choice. If you don't do, you miss an opportunity. Nothing else. That will for sure be distributed. I was seeing one devotee called Mahotsaha Prabhu. He's a disciple of His Holiness Bhaktivikas Swami Maharaj. What an inspiration he has been this year for us all. He has, in one particular day, Prabhu has distributed 1,500 books. 1,500 books in the United States of America. We say people are not so Krishna conscious. He has been distributing, and he's taken it upon his life. And Prabhupada was so pleased whenever he heard about any of such pastimes where people came. I was in fact reading the other day about a pastime of Srila Prabhupada, and you should hear this pastime, my dear friends who are hearing. It's like Prabhupada was there, and this comes in Prabhupada Leelamrit, and Prabhupada was sitting, and suddenly some devotees came. A devotee called Praghosha came, and Satsvarup Maharaj introduces that this is Praghosha. He is a distributor in the airports. And Prabhupada sits down, relaxes, and Prabhupada says, oh, he's sitting down, very nicely it's mentioned that Prabhupada sits down, relaxes, and Prabhupada says, oh, so whom do you distribute in the airport? And then Prabhu says, oh, this morning I distributed some books to a soldier. He said, what happened? Prabhupada, like a small child, asks, what happened? And then he says, the soldier asked me, is this book fit for a soldier? Can a soldier read this book? And Prabhupada said, what did you answer? And he said, well, I said him that, I said that this book was given by Krishna to a soldier who was refusing to fight. And after reading this, he fought the battle of Dharma. Prabhupada said, very nice. Prabhupada was really happy. You said it correct. Then what happened? He said, he took 4 books and gave me $80. He said, that's a good profit. And then Prabhupada was very pleased with Prabhupada. Then he heard about others also. And then in between, there was one more devotee came up. So I think his name was Subudhi Rai. And Prabhupada then our Maharaj Satsvarup Maharaj said, this is Subudhi Rai. So Prabhupada said, where are you from? He said, I'm from New York, but I just came from India. As soon as Prabhupada heard India, Prabhupada's eyes grew up. Prabhupada said, oh, you came from India. Where were you in India? So then Subhadhi Rai said, well, I was in the library party of Garga Muni. So Prabhupada's eyes again went, oh, library party of Garga Muni. What did you all do? So Prabhupada wanted to hear some more book stories, And then, but Subhuti Prabhu was a little bit in a different mood at that time. He started saying something about against Gargamuni Prabhu in the past time, and he started saying that we were not getting enough time for our sadhana and all of that. Prabhupada didn't want to hear that at that point of time. Prabhupada just wanted to hear something very positive about how the Brihat Mridanga was spreading across, And Prabhupada then changed the topic. Then Prabhupada called Palika Mataji, and that Palika Mataji was the cook. So he called Palika, get some prasad for these warriors, for these people who are distributing the books. And she comes back and says, there's no prasad left. Then Prabhupada again says, I think there is some ice cream which has come from New Vrindavan. So Palika Mataji says, yes, it is there. So then she says, okay, get those ice creams. And then she gets in very nice ceramic cups, it's mentioned, right? Very nice ceramic cups. Now, ice cream came and it was given to those warriors who had gone about distributing books. So we are actually on a very important battlefield now, battling against Maya. And we are all warriors. We are all soldiers, infantry or air force or navy, whatever you call it. And we have got wonderful generals in the ISKCON Guru Vrinda, so who are taking the steps ahead. Everyone are going their way of how they can reach out more and more and more. In fact, I will end my class saying one particular sweet thing. We have crossed time, but we started a little late, so I'm taking the ownership. So this happened on the first day of this year's marathon month start. A little before December 1st, one of the days, I was in Mayapur and all the senior Vaishnavas had gathered together. Jagannath Prabhu, His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami, Jagannath Prabhu, Prabhupada disciple, Vraj Vilas Prabhu, TOVP head. Of course, His Holiness Japatak Swami Maharaj was also there. He had come on Zoom. Others were in person and were sitting. And at that time, Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj said that our movement is not meant for temples, not meant for building temples. Our movement is meant for distributing books. Then after that, Maharaj realized Maharaj was sitting side of Vraj Vilas Prabhu, who is the head of Temple of Vedic Planetarium, who is leading that initiative. Now the head is leading the initiative. So Maharaj said, it may not be very appropriate to say this sitting side of Vrajavilas Prabhu. But then Vrajavilas Prabhu said something. Vrajavilas Prabhu said, we are making this big temple so that we can increase book distribution. We'll increase by 10,000 more the book distribution. And then everyone said, Haribo. So it's at one point Bhakti Siddhanta said, Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Bhakti Siddhanta Swami said to Bhakti Vedanta Swami that I wish that people don't fight for this temple. Sometimes they fight over temples. So Bhakti Siddhanta said they were fighting about the temple in Bagh Bazaar. So he said, I wish I could break these marbles and give it so that books can be printed and distributed. That was the state of affairs. Sometimes our heart also pains in fear. Sometimes we see certain nastiness. So the main thing is that we distribute books. That's book distribution has to go on, nothing else. And that's a wonderful mountain-like noise which it can make, like what Varaha they made, and which Mridanga we can do, and we should do our little bit in that. And when we do that, that'll be very pleasing to Srila Prabhupada. We'll stop our class here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. If anyone of you have any comments or you all have any points to add, please feel free to let me know. All you wonderful devotees are there here online. All of you are distributing books, I know. So take up more, distribute more. That will be very good. Hare Krishna. Okay, so yesterday we had Braj Kirtan Prabhu distributing around more than 35 books. He distributed in the school yesterday, I heard. I heard yesterday Rajiv Prabhu reached out around 200 books. That was very pleasing. He called people and he ensured that reaches out to them on Gita Jayanti, and he did that. So all of you should also try out as many books as possible. Reach out to your contacts. Sarvana Prabhu took 2 cartons of Tamil books with him. So 40 books he has taken to give it to his people in Karur. Jaladhar Prabhu has agreed to take 40 books, is what I hear. Subhadra Bhaktimay Madhya, her husband, has taken 60 Hindi books, Bhagavad Gita. So all of you, this time Bhaskar Prabhu, this time your books have not gone. Last year you were the lead. So you should pick up some books, Bhaskar Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu.
Last time I remember how you took so many Bhagavad Gitas and you distributed around 24 of them. I remember that. Take up books. Sorry, Prabhu, how many were there?
30 books.
30 books. And you see, this year you haven't started your count. You should take it up. It's just nearby to you is the base. Just say Suryavamsi and take the books, That'll be nice.
Okay.
Devaki Prabhu, what's happening in Tumkur? Why are you not taking some books? Take and distribute. Whenever you want, you say us, we'll send it out there.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Rasamataji. Tomorrow is Hanuman Jayanti, 16th. So find out some good Hanuman temple near your house.
Yes, Prabhuji.
There will be good book distribution tomorrow.
Okay,
Spread
Prabhuji.
the glories. Yes, please try. Sometime, 1-2 hours in your day will be good.
Yes, Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. How is Deepa Mataji? Some government schools you went or not?
But they are not
Not
responding.
agreeing? Oh, no problem. No problem. See, never be bogged down by if you didn't get any success. Keep trying. Somewhere it will open up. Thank you for taking the initiative and going and meeting there. That is very nice. Yes. Sri Kumar Prabhu. Is it the same Sri Kumar Prabhu from the yesterday who joined us for the Gita restudy? Sri Kumar Prabhu?
Yes,
Oh, yes. Yes, Prabhu. So where do you stay, Sri Kumar Prabhu?
Bangalore and Prabhu, Indiranagar.
Indiranagar. Okay. Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you for joining for the class also. Very nice that you joined for the class. Try, Prabhu, to distribute some books nearby to your people, because by books, many people will change. How much we can change, but if they read Prabhupada's books, they will change,
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Keep joining the morning Bhagavatam class.
Sure. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Savita Mataji. Is it our Savita Mataji from?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I'm from
Hare Krishna.
Namdi Simpi Samaja group, Prabhuji.
Which group, Mataji?
From the Simpi Samaja, we did Bhagavad Gita.
Simpi Samaj. Yes. That's right. Yes, Simpi Samaj. How are you all, Mataji?
I have books to distribute, but I am not getting the right person. Like I don't know whom to give, because they should read it, right? If they just take and keep it somewhere.
Mataji, it's a time bomb. You know time bomb? Prabhupada says it's a time bomb. Sometimes the book will explode. You never know who will read in that house and become a devotee. So give them first. Then the book will find who has to read that. So we never know who will read the book. So there is one story, when in US, usually people go after the age of 18, they are said to go and stay in a different house. So this boy had gone off. Somehow his grandmother passed away and nothing was there. And so he got the rights and he came back to his grandmom's place. So he cleaned up the garage, and in that he had thrown away some books. And then he picked up inside that, he found one Bhagavad Gita. He started reading that and he became a devotee. Can you beat that? His grandmother had purchased the book. He read and he became a devotee. His grandmother didn't become. We never know who will become. Prahlad was a devotee. his son was not such great devotee, but his grandson Bali Maharaj was once again a Mahajana. So you never know. Give the book. If someone takes the book, that means they're pious, and then someone in that family will become more and more devoted, and they will become Krishna conscious. We never know who will become a devotee. If a rascal like me can become a devotee, then anyone can become a devotee. So give the book. It'll be
Sure.
good.
Sure, Prabhuji. I'll
Yes,
do it.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Poonam Mataji, Gauri Mataji, and others who just joined us. We'll end our class here. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhabhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Samaveti Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol. Revati Nandan Prabhu jai.
Hare
I
Krishna.
sometimes Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Pranam
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Subhadra Maji. Dhanavad.
Hare Krishna.